When we arrived at the big concrete building complex of the Miskolc Police Headquarters, I was more like a sleepwalker. Our escorts handed us over to someone and then they left. I remember being separated from S and taken down to a corridor with many doors on both sides. I remember how awful the smell was down there. I remember the guard opening a heavy metal door and then pointing inside a tiny cell. I looked at the guard, who had a face of a monster. The guard probably did not understand what I was waiting for, so he yelled at me, "Get inside, you bastard!" "No, there must be some misunderstanding," I probably said. "I don't want to get in there. I just want to go home." "You are home now," the monster shouted. He showed me inside and slammed the door in my face. I guess suddenly I was awake. I looked around to see where I was. The cell was very small, barely enough for the hardwood cot that had a metal frame with its legs fixed in the concrete floor. The floor was wet. I saw a perforated plate in the wall just above the door. Those perforations were the source of light in the cell. There had to be a light bulb behind that plate. The rays coming through the uneven holes painted various sizes and various shapes of light patches on the walls. It was almost scary. I sat down on the edge of the cot. Soon I had to adjust myself because one of the many bolt heads bulging out of the wood began to press on the bone in my buttock. I saw a beaten bucket at the end of the cot. It was dirty and rusty with a brand new lid on it. The contrast made me smile for a second. I guess I did not yet realize what was going on. I lifted that brand new lid, and immediately I understood why the air smelled so horrible down there. I quickly covered the bucket and moved to the other end of the cot. I could hardly keep my eyes open. My head hurt, probably from the beer I had during the night. I heard the door being opened, the huge key making irritating metallic noise in the keyhole. The guard threw in a ragged blanket. A cloud of DDT dust rose from the blanket when it landed next to me on the cot. "It's now after 6 in the morning," the monster face barked. "From now until 10 in the evening, you are not allowed to sleep or even take up horizontal position. You can sit or stand, that's all. Understood?" He slammed the door and locked it. A minute later, I began to smell kerosene. I also noticed that some lukewarm air was blown in. I had to stand on top of the cot to find the hole. Central heating. Well, now I can take a joke about it, but it sure was not fun back then. The smell of the kerosene got stronger and stronger. That fume eventually began to bother my eyes and it made me cough. At one point I panicked because I thought it would kill me.